Hi, everyone. I am your host, Jade Haggard, podcasting live here at Art Universe Laboratory. Welcome to Artist Solace. Hello again, and thanks for listening. This is episode 1 of Artist Solace, Shootin' from the Hip, an interview with Will Woodrow. Will is an Indianapolis, Indiana native and is currently pursuing a full-time career in the arts. More primarily, he is focusing on his new band, Starve the Beast, who made their debut live performance in March of 2019 here in Indianapolis. Will describes the unique sound of the new band as, quote, a mixture of my upbringing and my first love of hip-hop, groove, and beats, combined with my later love of industrial rock. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram as Will Woodrow. You can check out Starve the Beast at www.starvethebeast.rocks. There, you have access to samples of some of the band's music and a live video of the song Puzzle, which was recorded during their debut performance. Upcoming tour dates are also available on their website, as well as a short biography of the band and description of their sound. Now to move along, here is my interview with Mr. Woodrow, Shootin' from the Hip. The reason I chose that title is because throughout our initial correspondence with each other regarding this interview, he used that phrase several times. I can therefore argue that the phrase reflects his way of life and way of doing things. It is another way to say, just go with the flow, which can be good advice to consider, especially when pursuing an art career. So thanks, Will, for that, and here I begin the interview with the most primal of all questions. When did you first realize that you were interested in art? Art isn't anything.
Always.
Like when you first realized you were actually alive in the world, or what?
As soon as I could hold a pencil, I started writing songs and drawing. I mean, and that's
so what age
I've
do you
always
think?
done. 6 or 7. I mean, probably first grade-ish when I could complete sentences and write stuff. And I've always done it. And I've always known that that's who I was and what I wanted to do and what I was going to be when I grew up and what I'm still pursuing. And I've never not had a moment where that's who I was. I've been a lot of other things in pursuit of it, but that's the one staple in my life. If I ever was to say, like, who am I? That's what I've always done.
What, an artist? Just an artist? Or like
art and music both. My music career is separate from my art career. My pursuit of music has been a really up and down journey of different failures and successes, of mountain to climb, of different shit that I've tried to, do. During the times when it's not going well, I stop and I do visual art, and then I get a lead on something that gets me excited about music again, and then I switch back to music. And I've gone back and forth, so there is a very distinct difference between the two for me. They're both forms of expression, but art and music are separate in a sense that visual and sonic, I guess, would be the only difference.
Like the word sonic, I've never heard that. Like sonic art.
You know where I came up with that? I wrote a book for a thing a stage show that I was trying to do, and I couldn't get my vision.
Animatron?
Yeah, animatron. And I couldn't get my vision expressed properly in words, in a way that was understandable to other people. So I wrote this book that I was trying to have turned into a screenplay that it was just a very large production and was going to take an awful lot of manpower that I didn't have or money to start. When you can't get 4 or 5 people together in a band to show up for practice and get them to regularly move forward in the same direction, you're going to have a hard time putting 20 people together to do a theatrical performance. So at any rate, the way I described that was a overstimulation of sonic and visual performance that, I wrote a song called Dopamine that, touches on all of the, sparks that excite people. And, it's just that's part of the whole marketing thing too, and an interest of mine in understanding what makes people tick, and like how to get my stuff, how to get people to pay attention to my stuff, and what interests them, and what can I do to make it. And so, like, trying to understand how people are wired in the first place helps you understand how you can be successful in what you're trying to achieve. And like I mentioned, people crave that stimulation visually and sonically, especially now because, like I said, it's just an oversaturation of like instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can get your information and your communication across instantly in a million different ways now.
Mm.
And and people
interesting.
and people want it now, you know? And so, like, in order to catch their attention for 1 second and any hope to hold it, you better come with something like stimulating.
How do you overcome your struggles in your career?
Today,
Yes.
I am struggling with the fact that my drummer went to jail Friday. I have like a Spinal Tap type of joke with drummers. I don't know what the issue is really, but you know, we have a lot coming up, a lot of really great opportunities coming up, and I'm actually leaving here and auditioning another drummer tonight. Because we just have to pick the ball up and run with it. We've got a bunch of shows coming up, a bunch of touring and out of town stuff, and
When does your touring start?
well, mostly we're doing like just weekend stuff around the Midwest.
Do you
at
have
the
anything
moment.
scheduled? What's the next show you have
I think
scheduled?
we're playing. I don't know if it's Louisville or Fort Wayne.
Okay.
But like May 11th is our next show that we have coming up, and we have to play all night. So not only do I have to teach a brand new person as fast as possible and get as tight as we can between now and May 11th, 40 songs, you know,
40.
ish. But I've also got to learn a few new ones, and I've also got a lot of other things that I need to do, like
Okay.
work on putting together a music video for an official video for a new song.
Which song?
I'm gonna probably do Monster off of
Monster, okay.
off of the new EP that I just did, and but struggles are like
So you're struggling with finding that person right now.
That's
And
one
more
of them.
specifically today, are you auditioning
yeah,
one drummer or
today,
how many? Just one?
but it could be
What happens? So what do you do when you audition?
I used to post and try to find people and stuff, but having been through the mill, I exhausted my options. I've either played with them and we aren't compatible for whatever reasons, or been there, done that. It's like going back to an ex-girlfriend and you knew it didn't work then, so it's probably not going to work moving forward. Bands are a relationship. You gotta have the right fit, and they gotta fit because they like what they're doing. You have the same common goals. They're reliable. They're not a total asshole. And they're willing to put in the work.
They need the commitment. They need to be committed and be serious.
It's a serious
about
commitment for us. Some bands, some people just do it for fun, and that's cool. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to work a job, you have a really great career, okay, you make a lot of money, you like what you're doing, but you just want to have some fun and just play music on the side, cool.
You can categorize that as your hobby.
Good for you. Go out and play some shows, drink some beer with your buddies, play once a month. That's cool. But for me, like, I want to not do anything other than music.
Sometimes
and
I
art.
wish it were my hobby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've struggled a lot too.
Well, so that's the thing, is
So-
that your goals have to line up and you have to be on the same page. A lot of people I know just don't take music as seriously as I do, which is fine, but but for me, it's a much more serious. Like we have like a lot of really good stuff going on. I'm sorry for being vague on all that, but like
I do want to talk about your successes.
yeah, well, okay, so
Would you consider these things successes?
so they're a direct reflection of the amount of effort that I put in. Talent is no more than work actualized. So if you sit down and you play your guitar for 10,000 hours, you're going to be better than somebody that's played a guitar for 2 hours. So if you want to call it talent, that's fine. People always say, "Oh, you're so talented." Yeah, I've got a lot of hours logged. And so when I look back, like it's not always necessarily the day-to-day successes or failures, but it's an overall journey. And you look back and you go like, holy shit, I've climbed like a mountain, 1 footstep at a time. And sometimes 10 footsteps back, you know? And so like, for instance, every time you replace a new member, you have to start over. And that's happened to me a lot. You know, I'm not saying that I'm not responsible for some of my own pitfalls and downfalls, but the successes happen when you get your ass up and you keep going and put one foot in front of the other and put in the work, you know, and keep trying. And then you look back and, like I said, you've come a long way, and you can go like, okay, so in proportion to where I think I am versus, you know, like I feel like, you know, people look at themselves through a microscope sometimes and they go, you know, I'm not successful, I haven't done anything. And then to somebody else looking at you, they go, well, like, you've got like 9 albums out, you have a fan base, you've got shows booked, you've been to Nashville and recorded down there, you've got some great connections, you've got people booking you around the country. That is like, to get to that point.
So you think maybe you're not successful, but other people are giving you feedback.
Well,
that makes you think you're on the right track?
I'm not at the level where I feel like I am comfortable, but I never will be.
Would you, now, can I ask this? Would you define comfortable being earning
a paycheck, doing what I love to do? Last year, I became unable to work because I couldn't walk.
So that was why. I mean, I thought you went into that willing, like you made the point to go on it, to do your art full-time for a year and not work. So it was because you got
injured. Yeah.
Injured? Okay.
And I couldn't walk, and so I couldn't work a regular
That's interesting.
job. And so during the last year was the most serene, peaceful, wonderful existence
Really?
I've had ever. Making art all day, every day, and music all day, every day, even though I couldn't walk. Even though my car blew up on the way to Nashville. Even though I wasn't making a lot of money. Circumstances aside, it was the most peaceful I've ever been.
Were you in a wheelchair?
No, I've had 3 back surgeries now, and I had spinal stenosis. And
so how were you limited though? You said you had to like.
Well,
sit.
I mean, like,
could you still
pain
walk?
is pretty unbearable. So like, I can only stand up for maybe like 2 minutes at a time, and then I have to sit down. So like, yeah. So then I had surgery in November, and I'm like back to work and feeling a lot better. But you know, I wasn't making the kind of money that I would have been had I been working a regular job. However, I did plant a lot of seeds. I did do a lot of work.
Right.
A lot of art and a lot of music last year. Having planted those seeds, so to speak, this year, it's still a full-time job, just in the evening. Music more so than art. The visual art stuff is kind of on the back burner right now, because there's only so many hours in the day, and I'm working full time. I got my son most evenings when Liz is working at the bar, and then I have practice a couple times a week. I'm trying to write still. I've got phone calls to make. I've got, booking agent that I'm couple.
How does this
people
make
that I'm
you
working with.
feel?
A manager, I've got a lot of things going on. Last year, I spent a lot of time with like self-development, audio. I listen to a lot of stuff while I'm painting, or I listen to a lot of stuff when I go to sleep. Tapping into my subconscious.
What do you listen
from
to?
A conscious level. A lot of stuff on the subconscious lately. A lot of sleep meditation, guided sleep meditation stuff. But that brings peace, and like a lot of the anxiety and stuff that I used to have, and about like day-to-day stuff, bills, whatever, like I feel like, universal laws, the law of attraction, the fact that money is just energy, not really. I think as you get older and as you work on yourself a little more, your worries change. What is a big deal when you're 14 is not a big deal at all when you're, 35 or whatever. So, some of the things that used to really beat me down mentally aren't currently, because I've learned how to manage.
Well, what would beat you down? What do you think would beat you down when you were
I had a
younger?
job that I was at for like 4 years, and I just I didn't like the people. They were like dictating my schedule. They had no regard for my personal time or
What
life.
job was that?
It was send me out of town on a whim, the day of, for 3 days, at any given moment, no notice. That shit was really stressing me out. I was working for a sign company, but, and so that was giving me like anxiety. I mean, there's been different times throughout my life where, fear and anxiety but it's all mental blockage. It's all like negative energy. Your energy like dictates your outcome. So if you can control like your emotions and the way that you feel about your attitude towards things, if you can mindfully change what you think about, you will change your outcome. And it took me like a long time to get to that, but I'll tell you what, like
I will say, it's hard to really learn how to truly do that or understand how to do that.
Yeah, it takes
it's weird.
practice. So like yoga.
You told me though you were influenced by Alan Watts.
I do
right?
like Alan Watts, yeah.
And when did you first learn about him?
I listen to a lot of stuff on YouTube. There's a lot of free audiobooks on YouTube, and a lot of that lecture stuff, a lot of universal kind of applications. I'm interested in history, but I'm more interested in like, I don't know, I've gotten into like quantum physics and quantum mechanics, and just like I think it all ties together really for me.
What about quantum mechanics? Can you elaborate on that? Or, as an art dude, I'm interested in that stuff too, but it's like, it's more on a visual basis.
Yeah.
I can't so much read, like, this
No,
physics
string
books
theory,
and string
physics.
theory, I couldn't bring myself to really read it. I would look through at the
hard
diagrams
reading, yeah.
and just kind of get inspiration from that.
Dimensional thinking. I feel like we're kind of on this plane of reality together, yet there's different planes of reality, and your reaction to the reality that you have is circumstantially changeable. You don't have to choose to react the way that you do. So a lot of it's learned. A lot of indoctrinated, institutional type of learning, whether it be your upbringing in your schooling, Christopher Columbus discovered America, freedom fries, propaganda. I mean, like TV, advertising, media, all that stuff is planted on you hard to keep you in your place. A lot of people don't think outside of that box. They don't even know. They think that is the box. They think that is how it is. Their circumstances are what they are. Their life is, they are a circumstance of their surroundings. They don't realize that they can totally change every aspect of every outcome in their life by changing the way that they think about it. And in my study of all of that, I've just really started to understand, and it's a daily practice of trying to think positive in every situation, manifesting my own future by speaking it, thinking it,
Speaking it. That's a good point.
doing it, believing it. I want $20,000 a month as my income.
Is that what you really want, or is that an example?
No, that's what I really want.
That's interesting.
Put a number on it. If you want to manifest something into your life, make it a direct goal with an actual physicality to it. I mean, put a number on it. If that's what your goal is, how do you get there? By my 40th birthday, which is May 1st of this year. I'm just going to put this out there in the air, in the universe, okay?
2 months-ish from
and
now.
See if it comes back to me, all right? By my 40th birthday, I want to be signed to a major label.
Okay.
That's lofty,
That's a good
right?
goal.
Sounds lofty.
I don't know what is really
I'm already
going
on
on.
a really shitty record label right now. That's
Okay.
So Woodrow Project is, rather, I should say. And so I am going in a whole different direction with this new band.
Why is it a shitty...
They lied to me to get me to sign up.
How did they lie to you?
They just made a lot of promises. And
Like what?
oh, I honestly, I don't know if we have the time to dive into
Name
the specifics.
one thing.
Just that they,
Or the most, maybe the worst
had
thing.
all these contacts, and we're gonna do all this, booking and stuff, and help me get all these shows. And I mean, it just was anything but.
And they didn't follow
stuff.
through with that?
They didn't. It's just anything but the stuff they said they were gonna do, and it created friction. And then we just went back and forth, and then I finally just stopped talking to them, and they stopped talking to me, and I moved forward, and I just changed the whole thing that I was doing, and but that experience, was just a step along the way, and so now I'm on a different level than I was, having taken that step up to something else. So from where I'm at now, it's gotten me. My goal was to be on a record label, right? But now you notice I said a major label.
A good one. How about a
good one? Yeah, because I mean, there's lots of record labels.
So what does it mean when you sign to a record label? Now, why is it that you're hooked to them? Can you not?
So
is there a contract?
The only reason to sign to a record label, in my opinion, is if they can do more for you than you can do for yourself. And being that it's a DIY culture now, you can do a lot on your own. Now let me straighten that out though, because you can do a lot on your own, but you're not always doing the right things. If they have the right contacts and they know how to get you paid, they can handle your administrative and your publishing, and they can get you placement in movies and television, and they can get you merchandising deals, and they can get you on bigger shows, and they can get you hooked up with these bigger bands, and you can be generating some revenue, and they can, help you do all of those things. Also get you some great recordings. That's a reason to sign up to a record label. If they can only do part of that, you still, there's all kinds of contracts, okay? So like, if your contract with them is just for publishing, you don't have to have a record label. You can do that just with a publisher. You can do that, if your goal is just booking, you can just get a booking agent. You don't even have to sign contracts at all with anybody. You can actually just pursue these things on your own. From a DIY level, okay? But record labels have millions of dollars to fund you with, and money helps. So in the last couple of years, 3 years, whatever now, I've gotten financial backing. I've gotten management. I've gotten booking. I've gone and gotten some really amazing recordings done. Before, it was me trying to do all the booking, push my stuff to different, radio or whatever, just trying to market myself. It definitely helps to have a team. You have to build a team of like a lot of people. It takes a lot of people to make a really successful thing work, in my opinion. You can
if your goal is to perform,
if you want to play
venues,
big venues with a lot of crowd, you need somebody to not only get you that show, but work out a contract that gets you paid, but also you got to have people there. And you got to have somebody that promotes that. You got to have people that want to see your stuff. You have to have, asses in seats, so to speak. You have to have a quality product. You have to have something that people really want to latch onto. So to get to that, you've got to build a following. You've got to have some help along the way. You've got to have some connections. You got to build it. I mean, it's just, so you can go out and you can get in a van and you can tour the country and you can play every shithole bar from here to California and back and not make a dime and eat peanut butter sandwiches and make gas money. And that's fine if you're 20. But at some point, if you want to do it for a living, you got to do it a little different. And so, I think I'm just at that point. I've played all those shows for the experience, and I've learned a lot from doing that. And, at this point in my life, I'm just like, have the goods, have the team, have the path in front of me, have the people around me, and I'm attracting everything else. You can't present something to somebody that's not ready to see it.
Kind of like how an inventor should really have a fully functioning prototype before he presents it to sellers.
Yes.
There are a lot of correlations in the creative process.
Somebody messaged me the other day, I'm not going to name names, but he said, hey man, I've got this, I want to put out this demo. Can you get me a hold of a manager or somebody to help me get it to these labels? And I'm just like, here's the thing, man. Build a relationship with the label that you are looking to go to. First of all, they don't accept unsolicited material these days. Second of all, they're not even going to look at you unless you've done the work. You have to have a website. You have to have a following. You have to have your numbers on social media. You have to show that you have shows, that you have a track record, that you have video, that you have quality pictures and video and footage and a lot of attendance, and you have to have sold your own merch, and you have to have done all these things by your own hand. Nobody is gonna call you up or knock on your door and say like, oh my God, you're the most amazing 40-year-old singer I've ever heard. Let me give you a fucking $1 million contract. It just doesn't happen. It all goes back to like, do the fucking
Personal
work.
responsibility.
Do the fucking work. There's a reason why I say 1 in a million will be, you know, that thing, that superstar, that NFL or NBA or whatever. And it's because only 1 in a million fucking people are going to do the work. You know?
That's a good point.
It's a workload. It's crazy. I know so many bands that are never going to do shit because they're lazy. You know? Netflix, a comfy couch, a fridge full of food or beer or whatever. You know, you got your vices, you smoke your weed, you just like hang out. You just get comfortable. You get that security blanket of your paycheck, you know? And if you're happy where you're at, that's cool. But me, I was just never satisfied with that. I always wanted to do this. And so the only way that I knew how to do anything or to go to the next place is to fucking do the work. And that scares like 99% of people because it's a very small amount of people that actually do the work. And there's no talent, in my opinion, to it. You know, you're only a superstar because of the perception of other people, but they don't understand that there's like 10 million hours logged to do that. And I'm no fucking superstar, but
Not yet.
But I'm definitely headed in a much bigger direction than I ever have been, and I'm getting real close. And I've done a lot of work to get where I'm at. And that's all it boils down to at the end of the day.
Sure.
Fucking clock in, you know?
What do you think is your biggest sacrifice?
My kids.
That's also the best sacrifice as well.
I mean, I've sacrificed them for this in the sense that you know, I'm not gonna beat myself up over the father that I am or am not. There's lots of musicians that tour the world and have family. It's not unobtainable. But had I had to do it over again, I think, you know, I would have been a little more diligent in the balance. But, you know, just that's the hardest part.
Is in balancing your life.
Trying to be a fucking normal person, and I have no idea how to be a normal person. I'm an artist. I'm a musician. Like, I'm a cosmic motherfucker. I have no idea how to be that guy. That 9 to 5, you know, go to ball games on the weekends and, you know, do normal activities that families do. I just have never been that person. I don't even understand it, but I try for them. And that is, you know, the balance of that is like the hardest thing for me to do, I think.
So it's obviously still something you would say you struggle with. Like,
yeah. You know,
but you do sacrifice yourself for them. To try?
Of course, yeah. I mean, like, I have to pull myself away from whatever I'm doing and take physical notice of, like, mental notice of, like, my time that I've got in something. It'll be, you know, sometimes I'll be, the other night my kid was sick and mom was at work and I really needed to get this new video done. I've been talking about it for a week and a half. These guys have been asking me for it to use it for promotion. You know, get it on our website. I got people that I'm trying to book. I need some good video. I've been trying to do all that, and you know, just life gets in the way. And so he wanted to stay up late because, you know, it was his birthday and it was a weekend. So he finally goes to bed at like midnight. I was up till 4 a.m. trying to put out this damn video. Like, you know, I would have loved to have done it that afternoon, but it just didn't land that way. And so that's just one of the things that, like, I have to split my time up and be mindful of the fact that I made choices to have a family, and in order to keep them, I have to get outside of myself, and like pay attention to them as people and their needs and stuff. And that's really hard for artists in general. I think everybody gets kind of fixated on projects.
Those are some of the struggles I've had, and maybe other people struggle. That's what this is for, because I think it's safe to say there are probably a lot of people out there that do want to pursue an art career.
Yeah.
And
Dreams.
They would dream
Goals.
of it, dream of doing it full time. And what that means is earning an income, and that's serious. And there are more of us that are serious about it. It's way harder, though, I think, because they're doubting themselves or don't have confidence, and I think listening to these stories
I just
can
think
maybe inspire them.
You take your ideas and you have to build on them, and you have to have consistency, with the amount of effort you put towards it. And if you really want it bad enough, there's nothing that can stop you from getting it. But it's not going to just sort itself out. You have to sort it out as you go. You can blame people and blame society, and
That's resentment.
you can do that all you want. You can make excuses for why it never worked out and why your life isn't what you want it to be, or you can do the work. I'm not going to sit here and tell you all the reasons why I haven't done something. There's a lot of life instances that have happened. Either happened to me or happened for me. So, that's a choice that you make in yourself. Do things happen to you, or do they happen for you? I make things happen for me now. Things used to happen to me. Oh, man. Those cops, man. Now I'm in jail. Not their fault. It's the circumstance of my actions. There's a lot of things that have struggles and things that I've been through to get to where I am. Lack of, or, lack of resources, lack of finances, lack of manpower, But the truth is, you attract more bees with honey. So if you have something that people are attracted to, they're likely going to stick to it and help you and go further. And that shows up when they see the effort you've already put towards it.
You attract more bees with honey. I like that.
Yeah. Than with vinegar. So nobody cares about your bitching. They want to see the good stuff.
Yeah.
If you've got a track record of good, solid shit. You know how I got a manager finally?
How?
He said, I want to hear some of your best recordings. I said, well, here's like 60 of them. He had no idea that I was like a freight train, a workhorse, in the sense of like, here, pick from this pile of work that I've done. That's what attracts people, because they want to see that, there's something to ride off of. There's something to go off of.
Yeah, and
They want to bet on a winning pony.
And now that I'm actually really reflecting on it, that's the reason I was interested in interviewing you, because it seems like you're serious about it.
Well, yeah.
And this is just from viewing posts online from Facebook.
Yeah.
I didn't meet you officially until, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, right.
So it feels like you're putting in the work, and therefore I thought you would be good to talk to get some insight.
I appreciate you having me. And on that note, I got auditions coming up in about a half hour, and I got to get my
It is
ass
exactly
down the road.
5:30.
Yeah.
I think that went really well.
'Twas a pleasure.
Bye, everyone, and thanks again for listening. I hope you join me on the next episode of Artist Solace.